For many years, I would read and study the Bible from my small self intellect. And obviously, I understood nothing correctly about the Bible. In the last couple of years, 2 years ago, I had my inner Christ awakened. The image of God that I am. And since then, it is my higher self, spirit essence, or the Christ, that teaches me the meaning of scriptures. I no longer read it through my intellect, but my consciousness, my Christ illumination, the essence, teaches me the scriptures. And this morning, Spirit, higher self, illuminated to me the passage of 2 Corinthians 4:4, which speaks about the God of this world having blinded the minds of the unbelievers so that they would not be able to see the glorious light of the gospel of Christ. I looked at some of the different translations, and you can clearly see how the narrative is written into the text. They have added words for interpretation to fit the narrative of the gospel of the day, which is all focused on one person, historical person named Jesus the Christ, and that's where it ends. We're all outward looking for this Christ, and this God of this world supposedly blinded the minds of the unbelievers from seeing the Christ. Well, this morning I woke up with a new revelation. And then it took me, I went to the Greek interlinear to see what it said in there. And there were some interesting words to choose from, but one that they have chosen to use was a phrase called, that's to beam forth. To beam forth indicates that the light is inside and is wanting to beam out. So in the past, I always took the passage to mean that it would prevent the light of Christ from coming into our mind, into our heart. But reading it from the Greek, the glorious light of Christ is already inside of us, but the blinded mind is preventing that light from beaming forth out of us. And so there's a few words that were interpreted and added in, such as Satan, or the unbelievers. Those words are not even in the Greek, but like I said, they were added in to fit the narrative of the day, the gospel narrative of the day. That you have a devil and a God, and you have Jesus and the devil, and it's all about the focus on this historical person of Jesus. I tell you, that's been the greatest deception. And minds are still blinded today. Anyways, what was my revelation this morning? My revelation, and it's always so much more different when you are experiencing a moment of conscious awareness rather than reading or hearing about it. So it may not come through as powerfully as it impacted me. But the small g God of this age is our ego. And according to some of the words that are available in the Greek but were not chosen, it speaks of the God of this age blinding itself, the intellect, making it untrustworthy and incredible, and prevents it from beaming forth the glorious light of the Christ, which is the image of God. Our little ego is this little g God that has obscured the glory of Christ, which is in us, from beaming forth from within us. And this little ego sits in the temple declaring itself God. We have been deceived by our own self, the small self, and has kept the higher self, the imago Dei, the image of God, from beaming forth. Because this little God says, I am God and there is no other. And all of humanity identifies with this little ego, thinking they are their little personality. And so they've been living small in the shadows, never knowing, never perceiving, never seeing the glorious light that is them, that is in them and that is them, the Christ, the image of God. So there you have it. When you read that passage again, next time, it's not some little God entity outside of yourself or some Satan, although the effects of this ego is blinding the entire world, because we all have this ego and we all collectively manifest this entity of ego and of evil and darkness. Let the glorious Christ beam forth from within you as you. It'll not only change you, but it'll change the world as this gospel goes forth.